Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles. My name is Danny De Lillo. I'm so excited to be with our wonderful filmmaker T with the incredible The Pupal Stage. Let's take a look at a clip.
One second.
T, thank you so much for joining us today. And it's lovely to see you after our virtual film festival. For those that haven't seen your film, tell us a brief synopsis.
Yeah, Pupal Stage is about a recently out trans woman who's thrown into a coming out party by her friends. And as the night goes on, things turn south without revealing too much.
I loved it so much because I was just like not expecting where you were taking me. Like I was literally like going through this journey and I felt all those feelings that the character was giving us, and then whoa, okay, so I'm not going to give too much away as T mentioned, but because firstly it's a fantastic story that could have just been singly this story of someone who's recently come out as a transgender woman, but then you went to another world that you took us in and I was like, I was going to have nightmares the rest of my life, so letting you know. But anyways, where did the inspiration come for you in creating this story?
It really was like one day I sat down and told myself like I should probably try to visualize my worst nightmares.
Wow.
And like that's where it started from, trying to like jot down what I feared the most
Yeah.
and trying to pass that into a short script basically.
Oh,
It was just a mismatch of like my insecurities and the things I would see on the news that would like scare me, things like that just piled up into a short script.
I love it. That's actually what James Wan did, who created like Insidious and The Conjuring, and so he said, I'm gonna put my worst fears and nightmares and create them, and like, because he said I'm a scaredy cat, and it's like it's so interesting. So I love that you did that, because I think often enough we think, oh my goodness, like that nightmare I had last night was so horrible, or the things that you actually feel, but you actually turned it into a film and gave me a nightmare too now. So now I know your nightmares. But no, it was so wonderfully put together. I kept thinking to myself, like, it's very challenging when you have like a lot of people also involved. I was amazed. So obviously you took on multiple roles with this film. But I would love you to share a little bit about how you brought your cast and your ensemble together, because I was like, whoever has made this film is given themselves an undertaking with a lot of different instruments and things to figure out. So tell us a little bit about the cast, for example.
Yeah, really there's only two characters with names that are known. It's T, like the titular person whom I wrote myself like a version of me as.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the role of my friend. Her name is Olivia, and she and I knew, we were acquaintances from high school, like from back then. And then we've kind of like kept in touch. So the casting process wasn't an issue. And for everyone else in that movie, basically I just put up an ad on my Instagram asking my friends in nearby area to just like come through. I spent like weeks trying to organize all the extras for that scene. We had most of the budget for that went for crafties, just
Yeah.
trying to like feed
Yeah.
all the extras on set. And good amount of those extras are also like crew members. And all of my crew was actually like from my friends nearby whom I knew from like high school and then college. So everyone was just like down to work with me for like no pay, obviously.
That's so nice that you have people that you knew that
Mhm.
I think there's a one of the biggest elements, I think, for any filmmaker is that trust that you have, you know,
Oh,
with the
definitely.
people around you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was my first time directing anything.
Can't believe that, T.
And it wouldn't have been possible if I had not trusted who I was working with. Like, I was really blessed to work with like great cinematographer. His name is Cooper Lee Hodge.
Yes.
He did an amazing job, and then I had really great producers who are also my friends.
Yeah.
And the set design also, it was just like everyone did their part so well. So I really didn't have much to direct on set, really.
Yeah. How are you as a you know, first time directing, and of course I'm sure you've maybe seen other friends that have direct or people you admire that are directing, like what's your kind of process? Are you kind of a person that's more like works with the camera? Are you kind of more of an actor's director? Do you mix and mingle? What's your process?
Because I was directing while acting for
Yeah.
the specific short, I think I had to focus on performances more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I'm not a technical person, so
Yeah. Same here.
with cameras and like cinematography, when it comes down to like, I don't know, like how do you like the ISO or whatever, like I would rather hire someone competent to take care of that.
Yeah.
On set I could kind of focus on like how actors are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because I was acting, I think that was like a special case too. I had to
Yeah.
like pay more attention on how I was doing and then how everyone else was doing.
I mean, you were fantastic. Like I was captivated by your performance because there was just so much going on. I could feel in your mind. You know, you gave us the you know, how it was shot. I could just visualize so many things going on in your mind, and it was really interesting to watch, especially as things develop. But when you're taking on all those roles, when you're performing and you're directing, and it's your idea, like how do you, I mean, was that difficult? And when you were acting, was there someone you would go to sort of like say, hey, how does this look, or am I doing this right? Was there anyone on set that you had?
Basically, my DP, set dresser, and the two producers, I told everyone that was like kind of the main crew that I worked with. And I
Mm-hmm.
told everyone, because we're all friends, that they should be like coaching me as much as like I'm directing everyone. As in, like I needed outsiders input as to how I was performing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I took in a lot of notes from them on set.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of like taking on multiple roles, like I guess like I don't know. It started as a script because I would consider myself a writer first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
When I wrote it, I didn't have it. It wasn't intended for me to act, let alone like direct, really. So it just kind of kept changing because it was a script once I wrote it that seemed producible
Yeah.
in a relatively like short amount of time and like almost no budget.
Yeah.
So while trying to like get that done, it just kind of came to like, okay, and maybe I should just act, and that will save us a lot of time. And then trying
Yeah.
to find the director, it's like if you wrote it and then I'm acting, I might as well just take on that role too. So it
Wow.
wasn't actually that difficult.
Okay.
It just came in pretty naturally.
Oh, I want to work on your set, T. Let's see. So with that being said, what I mean, obviously there were definitely challenges that you had to face.
Mhm.
What was kind of the most difficult one that you had? You know, it could be something technically or just even something that was you're experiencing, you know, emotionally, whatever it was. Was there
Mhm.
anything that was kind of most difficult challenge you faced?
Yeah, with like I could think of like a few with the external stuff we've had. Like it was a long day of shooting for all 3 days of shoots.
Mm-hmm.
So many people in one household.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like we've had like cops called on to our set because we didn't have any permits or anything.
Mm-hmm.
While all that relatively manageable, but I think like really in tougher situations were just like I don't know because it was like really personal
Yeah,
the
of
whole
course.
thing.
Of course, and people are responding to that, and you know, it's kind of like it's you know, it's your mind that's being put into a film. You know, your mind. You hope
Yeah.
everyone's gonna love it and like it, right? so well, going on to that, like I was, you know, aside from having this element, you know, as we discover of you know, obviously that just that kind of like, I mean, goodness me, I mean that feeling of just, you know, feeling you've got to reveal something about yourself to people, like, and you're worried about their judgment, and it really shouldn't affect them because it's all about you, and it, you know, and it's so icky. And you know, I haven't gone through what you've been through, and I haven't done it in the coming out party, but I certainly know that feeling of having to reveal something, being part of the community, that's difficult to do. But you did it in, you know, yours was in a film, and it was, you know, high intensity, and you know, you're so worried about what reaction the people are going to feel about. But like, the fact that you kind of almost went into this other world that you took us into, and I felt like a lot of almost like symbolism of just how difficult it is, you know, and also like your worst nightmares of how people, what did you like going into, you know, writing the story, what did you kind of want your audience to take from your film, or sort of understand the process of what you were thinking, if anything?
I wanted whoever watching it to kind of be in my shoe for once, you know? Even though obviously like it's impossible for anyone who's like cisgender to just really understand the magnitude of like what that experience is like. But I wanted to just convey that feeling of like fear and uncertainty and like anxiety that a lot of trans people just carry inherently themselves. It was almost like therapeutic. I don't know if that's the right word. Just like purge that out. And while that was being made, I hadn't started my transition either.
Wow.
So like, really, that movie fit in with like, it came out a while ago, and then the film happens, and then I had started like my hormone therapy stuff. So it felt like a natural like chapter in where my like, transition was headed to.
I love your style, you know, and how you know, kind of took us on this. It was, you know, obviously what you were going through as a human, and as someone that, you know, was revealing something about themselves, but also going through a transition themselves. I love this experience you took us on, but it's also hopefully so great because anyone that doesn't know or can't understand, or like you say, you know, put yourself in your shoes, like I think you did it in a really artistic way, and hopefully a way that just, you know, draws people to really understand it. Like, you know, this is, you know, trust me, this is a big deal for anyone who goes through this, and also just the understanding of like, this is, you know, you were born this way, and this is what you were supposed to do, and the understanding. I thought it was just so nice to see a unique story in the way that you portrayed it. I was just so proud of you. Like, I was so glad that you made this film, because, you know, I think in particularly when we're in our community, in the under the bracket of the LGBTQ plus, which, you know, sounds like it's a certain group of people, but there is a vast amount of different people under this big umbrella that we put ourselves in, right? So, you know, and I don't think I've seen a film like yours, you know, that's actually really kind of rooted it in a different angle. Was that something you kind of wanted to do? Because I'm sure you've watched a lot of films, but oh, same story again. It's that same thing.
I went to after seeing like multiple like queer film festivals, right? Overwhelmingly, the narrative was a coming out story, and most of them ending with their homophobic parents like, "Oh, I still love you." You know, that's how most of them end. Really, I was like so jaded by the whole narrative.
Yeah.
To the point where I wanted to like kind of like do my own take on it, but make it like, you know, entertaining.
Yeah.
I wanted a lot of violence and like stuff that kind of doesn't make sense, but just to show like, because even to like expect your coming out to like be so supportive is a privilege that not many people have.
Right.
especially when we're talking about like trans people. Like it's even within, like you said, like the grand LGBT community, the umbrella, there are levels of like oppression that people face. And yeah, that's why coming out narratives like change so much person to person.
Yeah.
I personally didn't have such a pleasant hug it out
Yeah.
experience. And I just wanted to like, I don't know, I don't know, like make it even more dramatic than what I had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, what has it been like to you know, I'm so glad that you had your film with us. What was it like? I mean, I know we're in a crazy world right now, but what's been the experience of releasing your film out to the world, having it with us at New Filmmakers LA? What's that experience been like for you putting this film out for people to see?
Yeah, like, because it was such a personal like film for me. It definitely at first was like weirded out by the whole thing. Just the thought of like how many people are going to perceive me through this work right now, you know? Just the whole idea of like someone looking at you and then perceiving you is an anxiety I have. And then to like let that out to like so many people was
Yeah.
scary at first, but I think now it's almost like exposure therapy.
Yeah.
The more people acknowledge my like fears, it's like the less power it has over me.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, this is great. Um, so you know, I loved having your film in the film festival. It was so, again, as we've just said about this whole bracket, so refreshing. And almost how I feel we should be visualizing, you know, queer film in the future. You know, like it's really, you know, you're taking our community of film and moving it forward, which I love, and so much depth in your story. I love your style, I really do, and I love your mind and how you know, created this world for us. So with that being said, like, what is next for you? What are you going to be working on next?
Yeah, I'm working on a few things right now. I am editing another short film that I wrote, and I got to act in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we had a director, a
Mhm.
very wonderful director. Her name is Young Lo, and the short is currently being edited. It's a heartbreak romance movie about two queer persons of color,
Mhm.
and big push was to like avoid a coming out narrative, just to like showcase norm in queer love, if that
Yeah.
makes sense,
Uh-huh,
instead
uh-huh.
of like taking a coming out form. And the movie's called Tapioca Pearl.
Ooh.
We're currently in post production. It's being edited, and I am also writing a few feature screenplays.
Oh,
Those
great.
yeah, one of them we're trying to shoot sometime next year. We don't know when, you know, shooting restrictions will go back to the norm.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
according
I
to
hope so too. I hope so too. Um, I'm so glad that you brought your film to us. I really am, and I'm also glad to connect with you because I think you are a tremendous, like, inspiration to other filmmakers out there. And I just would love to know, is there been any advice that you go by for you as a person, or something that maybe a mentor has told you, that you can maybe share, you know, for other filmmakers, you know, particularly other filmmakers within, you know, our community, and more particularly a transgender community, because I think you're such an inspiration to people just releasing their stories, and you just, you know, it's really wonderful. Is there anything that you go by?
um kinda. I don't know if it would entirely fit with what you were trying to ask,
Yeah.
but right now, so overwhelmingly like there's a sudden interest in queer stories and storytellers right now. There's this big push for inclusion and diversity and all the keywords. And now all of a sudden, like people want to hear our voice. And while that experience might be like kind of jarring, and it almost feels like I've become a token in certain spaces, but at the same time, if there's a market for it, then I think we need to like capitalize while there's the opportunity and make sure that authentic voices are being heard and is presented to the masses.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I just want to, take the chance when it's here.
Yeah. Well, I honestly, I really hope that, you know, you're one of the people that lead us forward in this, you know, movement in this industry, because we need that. It needs a whole new, you know, just needs a lot of change. I mean, it's very encouraging when we are seeing more day by day, more kind of visibility of people from all over the world. I just want you to keep making more movies for us. That's all I want. Just keep making more films, because I think you have such a great style, and you know, and I think, you know, everyone has an identity, but I'm like, I want to see more of this genre that you kind of created. This, you know, just keep writing your nightmares. How about that? You know, they're interesting, but also very inspiring too. But listen, thank you so much. Thank you for this film. I can't wait to see the next few shorts and features, and we really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.